Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and I was always told how to voice radio, so today we're going to be looking at a couple of dragon Pokemon. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's time to clean up some dragon Pokemon. Like we did earlier today with water Pokemon, Dragon Storm has a couple of dragon Pokemon that don't offend me enough to put them in the, oh, boo, this sucks kind of video, pointless cards video. And I don't really have enough to say to really warrant doing a full video, which says quite a lot because I'm pretty good at doing that, I think. So what we're going to do, we're going to take Zygarde and Turtonator, and we're going to do a little video today looking at the pair of them as a pair, just to finish off before I bring you my pointless cards from Dragon Storm video tomorrow. So starting off then, we've got Turtonator, and it's interesting because it's the first Dragon Turtonator we've ever had. Unfortunately, it's interesting but underwhelming. So being a dragon Pokemon, these are both dragon Pokemon of course, you are hitting nothing for weakness, which is a little bit sad, but you do get a whole bunch of tricks. You've got Devoured Field, which is quite nice, and you've got Zinnia to accelerate energy and Lance Prism Star to get the cards out a bit earlier, and of course, you have always got Altaria to add a little bit of extra damage as well. Devoured Field adds 10 damage for your attacks, whereas Altaria adds 20. But honestly, even with all these tricks, the not hitting for weakness really sucks. Weakness to Fairy for both of these dragon Pokemon, bit of a pain with Gardevoir around, but really the number you're looking here is 120. Because I think that when Dedede comes out in Forbidden Light, that is going to be our go-to Fairy attacker. For a double colorless energy, you do 60 damage if you've got a lightning Pokemon on the bench. So, if you've got 120 HP or less, you're going to be KO'd by a Dedenne easily. Turtonator's got 110. That really sucks. Also means you will get one hit KO'd by a Zoroark and by a Silvally and by a Golisopod. This is not a good amount of HP to have, ladies and gentlemen. Retreat cost to 3 is high, but at least you get access to Heavy Ball, so I suppose there is that. But really here, it's the attack, and the attack's an interesting one. But the not hitting for weakness really sucks. 3 fire energy, 50 damage. Well, discard as many fire energy attached to your Pokemon as you like, so you can discard from any Pokemon in play. This attack does 50 damage times the number of cards discarded in this way. As has been the case lately, our translations are coming from Limitless TCG, and the lovely David Hochmann has gone to an effort here to really point out that it is each energy card, not energy. The 2 times this would really have an impact here are Counter Energy and Super Boost Energy. You see, Counter Energy when attached to a non-EX, non-GX, and you're behind on prizes, 2 energy. Super Boost Energy, if you've got 3 stage 2s in play and this is attached to one of them, 4 fire energy. Now, with Super Boost Energy, if this wasn't the rule, Turtonator would be broken enough that I'd pretty much have to give it its own video. As it is, unfortunately not the case. Although, to be fair, even with Super Boost Energy working, you'd still have an energy cost of 3. And you know what? It's really quite expensive. It's a non-GX, so you can use Counter Energy yourself, but this is an expensive attack. Rainbow Energy will count, because as long as it's attached to a Pokemon, it is a fire energy, but honestly, it's not going to be an issue here. If you're playing this in fire decks, I made this point in my videos yesterday, between Kiawe, Baby Volcanion, hey Nick, Max Elixir, etc., you really want to be playing basic fire energy, not anything else. And you could use a combination of Max Elixir and Counter Energy to get this particular Pokemon rolling. And you could even use Kiawe here, because Kiawe accelerates fire energy, but to any of your Pokemon, it doesn't have to be a fire Pokemon. So we've got options to get the energy on, and we can do a lot of damage. I mean, you whack a Choice Band on here, you discard 3 energy, that's 180, goodbye Tapu Lele. You discard 4 energy, that's 230, goodbye Gardevoir. And you can here put all the energy on your bench, then discard it away, but keep the energy on your active Turtonator in order to actually do a lot of damage turn after turn. And like I've said, you've got Volcanion, you've got Max Elixir, you've got Kiawe. We've got plenty of ways to get fire energy onto the field. And I'm sorry, it's kind of slightly off to the side here, but I would be remiss if I did not mention Magnezone Prime, which really is the last Pokemon that reminded me of something like this, because with Lost Burn, you could Lost Zone energy from any of your Pokemon and still do the damage. Honestly here, this is an attack with big potential, but the attack cost of 3, combined with the very low HP, really means I'm going to have to sit here and give Turtonator between 2 and 3 Wassies. We don't give half Wassies, that would be barbaric. Not a terrible card, and a very interesting attack, but it's just not good enough. Moving on to Zygarde then, we go up to 130 HP, which means you will survive that hit from Dedenne, you will survive that hit from Zoroark, etc. Again, free retreat cost means you can use Heavy Ball here, so all of a sudden we're looking better. First attack, 1 fighting energy, 20 damage, and the defending Pokemon cannot retreat during your opponent's next turn. And I've told many stories about Gabite and the fact that when I played Garchomp, I would use Gabite to win me games. And I like Gabite. And I like stopping retreating. But as I've made this point a lot in a bunch of recent videos, the reality is at the moment we are in a format where the majority of people are playing a lot of Guzma. And a lot of people are playing a lot of Ace Roller, which means you probably are going to be able to get out of this, so stopping retreating isn't as good as it used to be, let's say back when Snorlax was running around being hilarious. Man, I loved that Snorlax card. Not a bad attack, but the other thing is, right, you're using fighting energy, but it's a dragon Pokemon. So you don't get to use strong energy, and you don't get to use Regirock EX, and all of those other things. So it really is kind of annoying. You're not hitting for weakness, and 20 damage is very low, and there's too many ways to get around something like this at the moment. I'm actually going to have to turn around and say that this attack, even though you're stopping retreating, there's just too much not to like about it. That makes me sad, but I'm afraid that's the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. As for the bigger attack here, 1 fighting, double colourless energy, so you can use double colourless here if you feel so inclined. You get to do 60 damage, but if this Pokemon has any damage on it, you do 120. Here's the thing, even 120 isn't particularly good here. Because, really, to get stuff like Baby Volcanion, hey Nick, you really want to be doing 130. So I suppose you could do that with a Devoured Field or with a Fighting Fury Belt, given that you are a basic Pokemon. But the thing is, this damage just doesn't add up quickly enough unless you start using Altaria. Because even if you've got damage on you, you do 120, with a Choice Band 150, with a Devoured Field 160... you're KOing Marshadow? You're not even getting up to 170 and getting a one-hit KO on Tapu Lele. And I think that's the big problem here. Just so you're not actually doing enough damage. And that's before we even talk about how to get the damage on you. In Expanded or pre-rotation, we had Team Magma's Secret Base, which could put 2 damage counters on you. And then you would be doing 120. Although, to be fair, it would then bring you down to less than 120 HP, which means all those things like Dedenne and Zoroark now would be getting an easy one-hit KO on you. Then you add in the fact that you've got to use 2 energy attachments. Okay, maybe you use a Max Elixir and a double colourless energy. That is a lot of resources to put into one Pokemon that's not going to last very long and isn't doing enough damage. I mean, to put it in context, let's take Silvally. You use a Max Elixir before it evolves with a double colourless energy, you're doing 120, and you're accelerating energy, and you've got that brilliant ability that gives all of your basic Pokemon free retreat. Zygarde, you use a Max Elixir and a double colourless, and if you've got damage on, you just do a flat 120. And like I say, you can always use Altaria to get up to higher realms of damage here, but honestly, there are better dragon Pokemon to use with Altaria. I'm giving this Zygarde 2 Wassies. I don't think it's a terrible card. But I do think there's nothing it does particularly well that couldn't be better than anything else. This was on the verge of going into my pointless Pokemon from Dragonstorm video. Saved it at the last minute because we got 3 cards in this set, which are just bad. And Zygarde's not bad, it's underwhelming. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know how disappointed you are in the comment section. Go and ask, but remember the rule. Be nice. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWossy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCGRadio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts, etc., head on over to patreon.com/PTCGRadio, which is where you can do that. And do please go and check out Wossy Plays. We are about 170 people away from 1,000 subs and having a vanity URL. And if you like video games or Dragon Ball Super, and you enjoy my content, and if you're watching this you must, then that is a good place to go and scratch those itches. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.